I met a little girl who had a black doll, and she said because the black dolls are prettier than the white dolls. But then I've taken a black doll and a white doll and put it in front of two kids. And it's a study that they've done before. You put it in front of two kids, and you put it in front of a kid, and you ask them, which one is the nice one?
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9:11.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next stop, Texaco. Strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go.
Radio show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like,
the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Whatever happened to the times when we cared for one another? We shared the same respect. What is happening? We're trading what's important for shiny things. I can't allow this blasphemy. It's blasphemy. Why would you treat yourself like that? We didn't come this far just to fall right back. Don't lose yourself, stay on track. Baby, you're a god. Baby, you're a god. Believe that. Full of the things that we've overcome. Full of unspoken battles we've won. You're so much better than that. Sometimes the truth ain't always catchy as rap. Stop chasing cheese or you get stuck in a trap. Go get your crown and never render it back. No, it's blasphemy. Why would you treat yourself like that? Stop all that blasphemy. We didn't come this far just to fall right back. Baby, you're a god. You're a god. You're a god. You're a god. Baby, you're a god. You're a god. Baby, you're a god.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem.
Ooh.
Oprah said, what is the problem?
Ooh.
You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. You know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up. But
allegedly.
I made it all up.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
And we're live.
All right. We're keeping it moving. Welcome to another MSU edition of Living a Rich Life talk show. I am your host, Rich James, and I believe living a rich life is made up of 6 elements: good health, financial freedom, strong relationships, extraordinary experiences, philanthropy, and goals and achievement. Today, I have the pleasure of featuring one of Morgan's great alumni, in my eyes. He is a change agent. He is partner of DMD Experience, president, board member, Stand Up Baltimore, also known for Everybody Loves Fridays, those wonderful events, as well as Exhale Saturdays. I can go on and on and on. Let me introduce my friend, the change agent of Baltimore. Matter of fact, the change agent of DMV, Mr. Derrick Chase.
Hey, Derrick, come on in. Hey, family, how you doing, man? Good to be here with my brother, my friend, my business partner at different times in life, but a person who I have a great deal of respect for and enjoy your company.
Well, I appreciate that. So we're going to get right into the thick of things.
Yes, sir.
Right, we're going to get right into the thick of things. I have 2 questions that I always ask my guests.
Okay.
Right? In the beginning, I have a specific question as well as the end.
Okay.
And during that time, we have fun on here too.
Right. We're going to have a little fun.
All right.
And I'm trying to load into Facebook so I can make sure I get all of my folk.
Okay. Perfect.
So
and that works out because I did get some of the questions for you from some of your supporters that follow you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So don't be shocked.
So I should be looking up what? What should I be looking up?
Living a Rich Life talk show.
That's what I'm going
on
to
Facebook. And that should pull up. And then I think you can share on your page. I'm still figuring out the technical aspect of all this stuff.
We got it. I got it. Here it is. We're on the page.
And then you share it.
Okay. Yeah, I got it right here.
On your page. I'm still figuring out the technical. We live on live.
All right. Yeah. Now we sharing. And we ready to write. We ready to rock and roll.
So,
all right.
I got it right here on your page. I'm still figuring out the technical. We live on live. All right. So my first question is, tell us, who is Derrick Chase?
Oh, man, who's Derrick Chase? Derrick Chase is Cheryl Lou's Crayon Brown baby boy, born on the Avenue, Baltimore City, Gold and Division Street. Okay. The little engine that could. Raised in Park Heights, enjoyed and had a wonderful experience throughout Baltimore, but been all over the world. I've been to Asia, Mexico, Tokyo, Africa, even went to the places where the people told me not to go. And what I've done is I have, accumulated a great deal of experiences and insights that I like to engage people and then connect to expand upon those insights. So Derrick Chase is just your humble brother, your everyday guy who has an extraordinary opportunity to make some serious transformations on the planet and go and do it.
Okay, all right. So that's good answer.
Short version,
right? Short version.
Yes, sir.
I know there's a whole lot more to
dirty.
that. Today's focus is the concept of change. Right? So
know a little bit about that.
And hey, that's why it's the focus. Right. One of the difference and special things about this episode is the fact that we're going to talk about all 6 elements of living a rich life. And the reason being because all those things evolve. The show focuses on change.
Come on.
And We're going to give the folks something to listen to, something to think about.
That's right.
How they can change some things in their life.
That's right.
And you've been a part of some change in my life. So
Yeah. We
right?
can work on that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just inviting people in. Just, I got a lot of people at somewhere around 20,000 people. So I want to try to get as many people checking us out as possible. Okay. So I think I'm doing it.
All right. So you answered the first question as who is Derrick Chase?
Right. That's the easy one.
That's the easy one. That's the easy one.
That's a big question. That's like me asking, who is Rich James? But we asking better, who is Rick James?
There you go. So we're gonna start off straight for the jugular.
Yeah,
right?
let's go to it.
A lot of folks know you.
Yes, sir.
Within this area, surrounding area, extended areas.
Right.
One of the questions that was posed to me was, would you ever consider running for a public service position? Yeah, we getting right into it.
Wow. Would I ever consider running for a public service position? I think I'm forced to consider it. Not because I desire to be a public figure, but I desire to be in a space where I can have the greatest amount of impact on the transformation of people, and in particular the people of Baltimore City and the state. So I would definitely consider it, but the only way I would consider it if I had the right team of people and could really, appeal to the varying communities of Baltimore, that they themselves also should, put their resumes forth to run for public office. So if I could bring together 5,000 people and put their resumes and mine rose to the top based upon the conversation that we have, based upon what the insights that people felt that I could impact, then I would consider it. But me, myself, I wouldn't throw myself into it. But I would be a part of a movement, and if I'm a part of the cream that rises to the top, and if that group of people decided that I was best capable of representing the ideas of the group, then I would consider it, but only under those conditions.
Right. Yeah, I know I threw you for a loop with that one. We're going to definitely talk homecoming stuff as well.
Yeah. We're here, man. How much time we got?
We got 2 hours.
Oh, we got time.
Exactly.
We need some donuts.
Right.
Anybody got any donuts?
Bring them on. We here. BeExposedRadio.com. We're going to take a quick break, all right? And then we're going to really start to get it rolling. We got sort of a late start, but we're going to take a quick break. We have, we have fun on this show. So
yes, sir.
We're going to have a comeback, and we're going to play a game, something called It's Your Move. Okay? It's called Your Move. So we'll be right back. Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Derrick Chase here on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You were born.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. Suicidal, depressed, but you won't say a thing.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange radio show.
Any trouble, because I get into any trouble, but I had a problem that this then became a discussion at that workplace environment. Now, the discussion was I should have been more sensitive. In what way was my first response? And I guess when I had to meet with that said person who had the issue with the person who was said leader of that organization.
Okay.
I said, well, to that person, how would I have known that? well, you should have asked.
I think so. You want my opinion?
It was a circle, and I was willing to go on that merry-go-round.
You are better than most.
Yeah.
I think that's normal when you're in a group and there's norming. Most of the time when you're in new work environments or you're in a space where you're getting to know people, it's normal now to ask for people's preferred pronouns. You wouldn't have known that.
Normal to who? What is normal?
You work in social. You work in social innovation and
my pronouns, so it's not normal to me.
You don't, but I think because I feel like the person was probably offended because they felt like you were not honoring whoever they are, right? But you wouldn't have known that.
Still to this moment, I don't know what their pronouns are. So in that whole circle, we still don't know. So I'll go as far as saying I perceived it to be a she.
Perceive them to be a she.
Them.
Yeah.
Her, him, they,
them. It seems like they, them would be the easiest one on this one.
Join us every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. for the Artist Exchange radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste of been bad, burned and fucked over. But remain strong through the past over. King of haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't a man to me to let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I beat the haters, they know I'm great.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the one and only Derrick Chase. As I mentioned, we're here with the game called It's Your Move. Okay. So as I like to tell my guests, I do my research. I know a few things when it comes to Derrick Chase.
Yes, sir.
I know you're a chess player.
I do play chess. I like to say I try to play.
Right. So we're gonna continue this interview. However, we're gonna get a game in here. That's why we call it It's Your Move.
It's your move.
Okay. And you're the guest, so you do the honors of going first.
Yes, sir.
And each comes straight out in attack. So while we do that, we're gonna ask for some questions here, though. Just keeping it 100.
Yes, sir.
So in terms of advice, what advice would you give people in terms of how to change bad behavior? And I want to take that from each of the 6 elements, right?
Okay.
So the first one being good health.
All right.
Because I know we've seen you do some of your shadow boxing.
Yeah.
First and foremost, what advice you would give for folks in terms of changing some bad behavior as it pertains to health?
Right. I had a dentist, man, a guy by the name of Dr. Horowitz. He was a famous doctor, Harvard graduate. He was a dentist by training, but became a scholar amongst a lot of different other areas. And he was a dentist, and I asked him, I said, what's the secret to good dental health? And he told me knowing what the clean mouth feels like, knowing what a healthy mouth feels like. So when you ask me the question, what is the first step to health? Is number one is that you need a standard. You need to find a standard, all right? Whether it's, someone that you admire, whether it's something that you've read, you need to know what healthy looks like. And once you understand and know what healthy looks like, it's kind of like knowing the difference whether I'm going to Kingston Bean or Hershey Park. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once you know exactly where you're going, then you could put in place the necessary things to get you there. So the number one thing when we talk of physical health at this point, right? It's just knowing what it means to be healthy. It's almost impossible to get to physical health without getting into mental health. So the first aspect of physical health is having the right mindset. So, so many of us, we've had the wrong examples of everything. So what appeared to be healthy to me at the age of 14 is no longer healthy. Only because I've had experiences to say that my approach to diet, it should shift. So as a 15 or 16-year-old young man, I worked at McDonald's. So my diet consisted of McDonald's food, bacon, eggs, anything that was greasy, double Big Mac, whatever they had. But as I advanced, and began to have experiences with people who were healthy, I began to look at their skin tone. I began to look at how their body was sculpted. And, and then as a result of looking at how their body was sculpted, how their skin tone radiated, how they approached life with language, I began to move in closer. So as I began to move in closer, I recognized that it wasn't so much of what they were doing physically that made them more attracted to me. It was what they were feeding themselves, what they were feeding themselves intellectually. So the greatest physical health begins with the greatest mental health. And intellectual health.
Okay, all right. So in terms of strong relationships, and I think this is a good one too, right? Because I think a lot of folks I know, they ask the question, how did you connect with DJs? They didn't see us really hang. We connected really after college. Right. And started doing a lot of different things together. So what would you say in terms of changing some bad behavior from strong relationship standpoint to help improve that?
So the question is, give it to me one more time so I can understand it.
What advice would you give to improve relationships, to make
relationship?
Them
Okay.
Relationship.
Yeah. So the first and greatest relationship that one must have is a relationship with themselves and their creator. So when you really know yourself, which means that you've had the opportunity to examine yourself in a multitude of experiences, and you can look at yourself, good, bad, in between, and say, this is who I am. That's the foundation. So once you have that foundation, again, you can begin to move into, optimizing that, changing that. So I look at my relationship with you as an example. Acceptance is the first thing. All right. People don't show up like you want them to show up. They show up like they are. All right. So when you love a person, when you care for a person, you don't care about how they show up, as long as they're being their authentic self. Because I understand, like, if you go left, like I knew you were gonna go left. So I'm by me being with you, I'm assuming all the risk that comes with that relationship, and all the rewards that come with that relationship. So making an intelligent choice about who you are engaged in, making sure that you can manage when things are great. Like, can you manage when things are great? Because a lot of times, in some friendships, when things are great, is when it actually goes to sours. Why? Because people aren't necessarily interested in you going beyond the expectation that they have for you. They're not used to you going beyond that. So you have to deal with people who are prepared to go beyond the expectation that they set for you. And once you're able to do, just a few things, begin to quietly examine yourself. Begin to quietly examine the people that you pull into your circle. And I always like to say that if you don't admire your friends, you have the wrong set of friends. So I admire a lot of different things about my friends. And there are certain aspects of my friends that I attempt to incorporate into my own life. I say, okay, I like the way Rich does this. I love the way Rich is going to take it on the chin, and roll with it. And throw something back. You know what I'm saying? That's his personality. So your resilience as a friend is something that I respect. Your humor, all right? Your love, your humanity, your ability to continue to prosper and move forward regardless of the odds. You never expect as a person for shit to be good. If shit is good, it's good. If shit is not that good, it's still good. So as a result of us understanding each other, like, I can relate to that. Like, I know that no matter what, we will always be friends. Period. Why? Because you accept me for who I am, I accept you for who you are. The third and final thing is that, friendship is not necessarily a destination. You know what I mean? So you can't have going to every relationship expecting there to be a friendship to blossom. All right? So we are like two ships, all right, floating to the sea. At some point we may find a different star and our course may change. It doesn't mean that we didn't have what we had. It just means that our stars were plotted a different way. All right? So all of my relationships are the integral part of all my relationships is being able to walk together as long as we are united in thought in the idea of that time. As our ideas shift, so will we.
Okay. This is why I love talking to this brother. Y'all are only getting 2 hours of this. I get this on a regular basis. Yeah, so I appreciate that. I appreciate you in so many different facets, and I will take this opportunity to say, when it comes to the strong relationships, you are one of the closest friends, brothers, business partners that I know and I enjoy. I've been to the house and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Play with the kids,
All day.
all that good stuff. So I appreciate you. And I will say right now, here on the air, this show is really a manifestation of you nudging me.
Oh, man,
right?
come on, man.
You nudging me. This show is definitely...
All the personality in the world, why wouldn't you have a show?
Well, I didn't always think that. So, like you said, having that good friends around you is key. So our producer just hit us with a sign. We got to take another quick break. I know it feel like it's going fast, but the energy is really good in here. So again, this was the game part of it. It's your move. We're going to keep it going. Living a Rich Life talk show featuring my friend, my guy, Derrick Chase. BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back. It's your move.
Like, the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man. Like, yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all. So no matter what you up to, you gotta go hard. Don't matter. Can you imagine how I really having nothing is? Stomach growling, you ain't got no food in the fridge. Surviving on a jail diet of water and bread. No father figure, that's cause my father did. Mom's bringing different niggas in and out the crib. No money.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
Control. They said she wouldn't so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do. And you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability of that being the case. So if we're not talking to our children do not have the coping mechanisms to deal with these type of intense situations. What they're going to do is what most of us do as black people, me and anyone else, which is become emotional. And that is the trigger point for the police. They know that black people are emotional people. So when they arrive on the scene, they are purposely trying to say and do things to you to get your emotions up, right? And then once they get your emotions up, then it's like, oh, that's what we needed. Now we're going to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So I'm saying we need to have these discussions with our children, and make them understand in this day and age, and it's every day and age really, but we'll just say this day and age for the sake of it being so prevalent on social media, like you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think a lot of us as black people are just scared to still tell our children that there are a group of people.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right. Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show. Once again, I am your host, Rich James, and today, MSU Alumni Homecoming Weekend. We are featuring the one and only Derrick Chase.
Yes,
now,
sir.
I want to talk about some of the extraordinary experiences that you bring to the DMV area.
Okay.
Especially this time.
Yes, sir.
I'm putting it out there. My friends, they come from New York. They are looking for a D Chase Presents event.
Right.
So tell us, what is coming up for homecoming?
Oh man, well let's start with tonight. I think we're going to Montego Bay.
Yes.
So we're going to Montego Bay after this. So Thursday is actually starting. I don't know if anybody remember Glennis.
Yes, Big Time Delta.
Yep. Shout out
Morgan
to
State 89, Delta 89. She is starting us off on Thursday night at the Garage. The Garage is a space that I actually own. So we're going to be there. And she's celebrating all of the lines from 89 and more. Like, if you weren't a part of a frat, sorority, all good, everybody's going to be there. So that's Thursday night. Yes, sir. And that's right at 6 East Lafayette. Demographic is, 40 plus. It's 40 plus. There's some grown folk stuff going on here. All right? Then we move on to Friday night. Friday night, we right at Montego Grill, which is right across from the Garage. So the whole Charles Street corridor is going to be fire this weekend. Let me just say that. If you're at the 1800 block of Charles Street, that's right there between North Avenue and Penn Station, you cannot go wrong for the weekend. Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we go right back at the Garage. That's going to be a bigger, broader experience. We're expecting capacity. So get there early. You can get your tickets right on the Eventbrite. So the names of the events on Saturday, we are the Notorious MSU, right at the Garage. The Bridge, right? The warm-up, the Bridge is going to be at the Montego Bay, the Montego Grill. The warm-up, which is Glennis's signature event, is going to be back at the Garage. And on Sunday, right there at Port Covington, we're doing the silent disco, silent beach party. Yes,
Okay. So that sounds a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot is going on, man.
It sounds exciting.
A lot is going on. And there's a lot of plethora of other things happen. Like, that's what we're doing. But Morgan State University's hometown is a time to show love. Yeah. And I think that, I look at a few posts that, people I consider friends. And I think they get it wrong. And, I call people out by name just because I'm that type of guy. You know what I'm saying? But, Kennard is a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? And, I looked at the posts that Kennard put out. And, it's a post. Right. And I'm listening at the comments. And, one of the posts, Kiki said, why can't y'all find a venue big enough? And, 20 years ago, that was what we did. What we did, there was no lane for all of us to come together. There were all these different parties in all these different places. And because we actually operate in the event space, we said, what if we created an event where everybody could be? So we invested, found the biggest space that we possibly can come. You're talking about 9 months of follow-up. You're talking about 9 months of work that nobody pays you for. All right, and time invested, and we did all of these things, and then we went out. Like, at that point in time, in the early part, you kind of had the cats who were non-Greek partying, you know what I mean, with the non-Greeks, and you had the Greeks partying with the Greeks, and there wasn't a lot of mix. And what we were going to do is say, nah. So we went and got Dimitri and a few other guys, and we said, come on, let's do this together. And then we began to build that, and we established a foundation. And once we had that foundation between the Greek and non-Greek organizations, we recognized and said, you know what? There's a cat from New York who's out there. He's always doing parties. We didn't have to bring him in, but we brought him in because he had Morganites who were coming to his party consistently. So we expanded that. And we brought D-Hove in, right? So it was me and Zeke. We brought Dimitri and Bass in, all right? So we did that. We matured that. And then we went and got D-Hove. D-Hove began to be a part, and we had that group. And then we looked back and we saw that there was another group that was famous for doing events, which was TTC. None of these people asked to get in. Right? They didn't ask to get in. They didn't have to ask. Right. When you have an idea that's based upon unifying groups of people, I see what you do. I see your value. I bring you in. So we had about 15 years of bringing that group of people together and then even expanding into other generations to bring them together. Yep. I would always go to Mr. T's event. I always went to Glennis's event. Yep. And we brought that unity together. So after about 15 years of having that success, I think people get misconstrued because this is what I say about success. Success brings admiration. And a lot of times, admiration becomes something else. Admiration sometimes breeds competition because people think that you are motivated by one thing, when in actuality, you are always motivated by the same thing.
All right? How do you keep Morgan together? If you look at the track record of Derrick Chase at Morgan State University, it's always been a unifier. So how all of a sudden would I grow to become something other than a unifier? It doesn't make sense. So if there's somebody who's shifting, it ain't me.
Right.
All right? It ain't me. Kanal, it's not me. Kenji, it's not me.
Right.
All right? My love for you and everything that it's always the same. And we have to be willing to call people out by name to invite them into a conversation. Hey, send a message. You got my number. If we were on a different page, then let's have a conversation to see if we are on a different page or are on a different page. But don't make an assumption, because your assumption is 9 times out of 10 wrong. And if I know that you know who I am and my spirit and how I move, then I would say that I don't have an agenda, other folks have an agenda. And I think that when people begin to have agendas, all right, that is when the unity begins to fail. So what we hope to have at Morgan State University's homecoming is a plethora of events where everybody has a great time and great experience, and they have the opportunity to go to all of the places where their friends are. Morgan is a transformational space. We became men and women at Morgan. So the only thing that I want is the best for us. I prefer to have a space where it can accommodate everyone, and everybody has to do multiple trips. But if we want to go back to the old way, where you spent your night going from club to club and place to place, hey, look, I'm down for whatever you down for.
Right.
But yeah, that's what it is, man. We love y'all, man. We love y'all. Love has always been love.
Love is
always love. Ain't nothing changed about
and that's that whole concept brought the name Love is Love. Is that safe to assume?
Love is Love. The Love is Love name came from a cookout, a unity cookout.
Okay.
The same way we did this is the same way we built the biggest cookout that Morgan State University has ever had, 5,000 people for the course of 10 years.
Yeah.
Bringing people together. It started off as a softball game between the Gentlemen Equality and the Kappas.
Okay.
All right? We played that softball game for a year. And we would invite everybody to the softball game. Right. When the softball game got too big to be played across the street from Morgan, we moved the softball game down there to Argonne in the Argonne Park. And then all the other organizations began to become a part. We invited TTC, our mighty brothers at TTC. We invited so many, I don't remember all the names. Everybody had a crew back then. And it just became this big thing. And at its height, we had 5,000 people coming out, in April. Come on, bro.
Okay.
Like, unity, man. It's always been about that.
Yeah, that I will say definitely. Again, when it goes back to Morgan, when we first started, and used to be, sometimes we in the car and I ride, hey, Derrick, right by Jenkins, right?
Yes, sir. All day.
Oh, man, those are good times.
Good times, baby. Morgan State, baby.
Yes, indeedy.
Yes, sir.
Indeedy. So we're going to keep it going. So in terms of what are 3 adjectives that would describe your strengths?
That's a good question. My strength is in my consistency. I'm consistent.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I show up the same way all the time.
I take my hat off to that.
Number 2 is I'm a man. Like, for real. Like, I'll deal with you on any level you prepared to deal with me on. Okay. I meet you in the space of love. However, in the scope of manhood has to be able to assume and go up and down the ladder flawlessly. Okay. So my manhood is the second aspect of that. And the third is a combination of uncanny insight, all right, and passion. So I've had the opportunity to experience people in a way that has given me an uncanny insight into the human spirit. And as a result of having that level of insight and that level of passion, I desire everybody to feel like I feel. I can't tell you how I feel to feel like you floating all the time. I sleep 3 hours a day. Ask my wife. Why? Because I'm functioning on a spiritual nuclear energy. There's a difference between nuclear power and electric power. You know what I'm saying?
Spiritual nuclear energy. Did you hear that?
Comes from the center.
I like that.
Yeah, comes from the center. So that's what I would give them, man.
Okay.
If I could give them anything.
I know that's right. So you mentioned your family.
No doubt.
You mentioned your wife.
I got it.
Which again, I love coming to the Chase.
It's always drama.
It's always good drama.
Good dynamics. We honest.
Yes.
We have an honest relationship.
It's good dynamics.
Good dynamics.
So how do you balance the family, the friends, the entrepreneur, the business guy in you? How do you balance that?
I mean, everybody got to get used to suffering a little bit.
Okay.
That's real.
Okay.
Everybody suffers. If you have a relationship with me, you're going to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to be available necessarily for something that you think is important. I'm not going to be available. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to place an expectation on you, and with the expectation that if you can do it, you're going to do it. Why? Because I will return the favor. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be made to feel uncomfortable. You are. Because you can say, I can't believe this guy asked you. Yeah, I'm going to test our friendship. All right? So I think the question was about family, though, right?
Yeah, well,
it was about balance. It was about balance.
That's part of it.
So suffering, like long suffering. The other part about me is that if we are in a true orbit of one another, which means that we are orbiting one another, which means that we're in the same universe, there's going to be a transformational process that comes. Why? Because I'm constantly elevating. Like, I'm really on that shit for real. You know, I'm not like, it's no act. Like, I'm really about transformation. All right? I really make a point to be centered. All right, and to try to feel whether I'm moving in the right place of the universe. And the expectation that anybody that's in my orbit is to move in the same manner. So there's going to be some level of transformation. And so you got to, again, balance it. You got to be prepared. You can't be around me and just be a bum-ass nigga. It's not going to happen. Or a niggerette. It's not going to happen.
Oh.
All right? It's just not going to happen. Why? Because the expectation is for you to be better. The other thing, we have a lot of fun. Because we balance. You're going to say, you know, a person that spends a day with me wouldn't believe, like you really live like this. I'm most of the time on a bike. And I'm not dressed up. Like, most people see me dressed up, but most of the time I'm like on a bike, driving down the street with a pair of headphones on, feeling free as a bird. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's authentic energy. It's authentic God energy to sit here to do great things. Period. And the expectation is not only for me to do great things, but if we are within an earshot of each other, we gonna do great things. So what I like to do with my friends and the people who are around me is I like to look into them, because the greatest thing that happened to me was the people I've been allowed to meet. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor to meet a cat who come down from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Who's charismatic, who has great ideas, who is accomplished, in his career, and has had a great college experience and can shoot hoops and play chess. That's an honor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Honor your friends. I honor my friends. So it's balance.
You do.
Yeah,
you do.
Balance, man.
I gotta say this was no mistake that you hear. Because I said, when I got the idea, when I was talking to you and all the times we had conversations,
no doubt.
You really put it in my head, and I said, you know what, October is going to be dedicated for Morgan alumni.
All day, baby,
and
MSU,
then
baby.
The day before the weekend, it's going to be D Chase going to be on the show.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
I said, no, that's the only way it's going to happen.
Man, come on at me. and look, I own my own venue.
Yes.
You can go any other place.
Yes.
I'm going to go put it out there. You can go any other place homecoming. But come to your own. Come to somebody that you love. Somebody who loves you, who demonstrated his love for you. Come down to the garage and see what it is. It's nice. 6,000 square feet. It's a good place. It's in a great part of town.
I will say, if you have not been to the garage,
6 East Lafayette. 6 East Lafayette.
You make it there this weekend. Function happening 2 days out of
Thursday and Saturday.
And you definitely want to take off Friday, because Thursday gonna be like that. And if I may, I think there's there's a good group of folks, because what you don't know, there's like a rooftop.
There's a rooftop. We going to the rooftop. And guess what? Rich, it's my joint, so we don't have to close.
Exactly.
We'll close the door.
Right.
We don't close the door.
We hype. We hype. And we not apologizing, right? I'm telling you, because you already know where I'm at. You already know where I'm at. You already know where my crew is, right?
Yes, sir.
So you should be good. Yeah. You already know where we at. My crew, there we go. We get excited up in here.
All day, we excited.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to be on the rooftop, and guess what? After you go, wherever you're going to go, guess where we going to be? We still going to be in our venue. We're going to bring your cigars.
Okay.
You're going to have nice cigars. We're going to drink nice cognac. We close the door. We're going to sit there at 4 o'clock, and we may sit there at 5 in the morning and watch the sunrise.
It's your spot, so we're going to do whatever.
It's my spot, Rich. And your spot, because it's my spot.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
that. And it looks good. It's good looking.
Yeah. It's definitely looks good.
Yeah.
Actually, from the first time I went to the second time to the third time.
Right.
It just keeps evolving.
Yeah. Every time you make a dollar, you invest in the business.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. All right,
Plus, I'm broke. Come because I'm broke.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna keep it moving. We got to take a quick break, but as you can see, the energy is high. Again, it's Morgan State alumni, Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the one and only Derrick Chase.
All day.
We'll be right back. Come back to us.
This unknown to find who we really are. Crash into something new. Take a break from our broken heart. Talk with the hip, tell me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, try not to say too much. Let your love come down. If you wanna rule, it's a move you gotta live by. Live by. Stay true to your cool, make a move. Don't wait on nobody else. And if it feels like a melody, sing a song we my radio. And if you follow me there, I'll follow you back. Let the night unfold. I can tell that she can't get enough. Show enough, she couldn't keep the things up from me. I know she couldn't keep the things up from me. Touching hands till we dance.
Now listen to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business-minded individuals and just people in general. Really, I let my gut, and if I call it gut or God or whatever, I'm led by that energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it's, taking me, and you have to figure out what is important to you, and don't play this game. It's a game that we've learned to play, this chess game, and life is not a chess game. Life is real, bones, flesh, blood, decisions.
Make sure you check out the Artist Exchange show every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, we are back again here on Living a Rich Life talk show featuring D. Chase. That's pretty much what they call him. Now, during this segment, I have something I like to call a rich life moment in time. And what this means is we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think we didn't really nail it down. I think the first time we met was at a contest. It was a I remember. I'm gonna tell you. I think it was a Mr. AKA or something in Jenkins.
It's taking it way back.
Yeah, way back. We'll just leave it there, but we was in a contest.
I just know I wound up sitting the president of AKAs at that point in time, and I think you had a relationship with her after me, Rich.
Yes.
We won't say any names.
But yes, that would be the case. But really, that's when we really first met, and we didn't really hang out too much until afterward, but. I said, I used to always see you around and say, that's a good brother. That's definitely a good brother. So during this time, what I like to do is, I like to sketch things, because I am big on memories, as you know, as one of my best good friends.
Oh, man, yes, sir.
I need your John Hancock.
There it is.
Let me get my Sharpie. And, I'm about to say, I know I got my Sharpie here. And what I do is I like for you to sign as my featured guest here today. And anywhere, just down there, up here, whatever you like. And this is what we call a rich life moment in time. I love it. Doing big things here. And why Derrick go ahead and signs the Magical Living a Rich Life talk show poster. One of your supporters asked the question, what do you typically tell people when they ask you what you do?
Wow, that's an interesting question. The way I used to respond, I say I manufacture freedom.
Oh,
you know
okay.
What I mean? So When I was 24, I lost my father. And I recognized that in my father's life at 44 when he passed away, he never owned a new car. He had never had the opportunity to go to college. You know, he never owned a home. He never did. I can like 1,001 nevers. And at 44, he was dead. Okay. So I told myself at that point that I was going to take control of my life. Like I was going to do exactly what I wanted to do. Why? Because nothing was guaranteed. Yeah. All right. So I've been able to create a life where, you know, the commodity that I'm distributing is showing people how to be free, how to be free from the opinions of other people, how to be free financially in a way that you're not trading necessarily money for time, how to be free from the standpoint of allowing yourself to get to a space where you take risk within yourself, allowing yourself to be free by being completely vulnerable, not having a need to have the best or the biggest, or you know what I'm saying, but being content, being comfortable. Being comfortable with what you have, but not necessarily content. You know, being free to dream big. Like if you really want to know, like what I do, you wouldn't even believe it. You know, you would say, nah, you ain't doing that. I'm like, yeah, I'm really doing that. I really did go up to meet with Jay-Z's manager, with Dr. Wilson, the president of Morgan State University, to create something that's called the Center for the Advancement of Culture, and told Jay-Z's manager that Jay-Z owed at 11:30 at night at a restaurant. Yeah, I really did that. And Dr. Wilson was looking at me like he couldn't believe I said it, but I'm just trying to tell you. Like, and I told them at that meeting, I said, you're Dr. Wilson, the president of Morgan State University. I said, you're John Fleischman, you're Jay-Z's manager. The question at the table is, how the hell did I get both of y'all here in the middle of the night? So if you can answer me that question, I'm even lucky as hell if there's something special going on here. And the truth of the matter is something special that has nothing to do with me. All right? So, you know, when you really understand who Derrick Chase is, or you really want to know what I do, God has given me an insight into what the future looks like, as well as giving me access to the people who actually are creating the future. So I spend most of my time in a deep spiritual meditation or actively motivating on the vision, which is a part of a 94-point plan that God has shown me of how we can recenter ourselves as a humanity, not Baltimore, not Maryland, not the United States, but the entire world. So, you know, as individuals historically had looked at the world and say, can I transform the whole entire world? Can I actually do it? Is it possible? I looked at myself and said, can I transform the entire world? I said, I can. And I'm going out and do it every day. I do it.
And let's so let's. I had another follow up, but let's piggyback off of that, right? I know, and hopefully you don't mind me disclosing. You just came back from Africa. Right, and he's doing some great stuff over there. So let's talk about that a little bit, right? Tell us about that experience in Africa.
Absolutely amazing. I'd always imagined myself flying into Africa and having these black limos that come and pick me up and take me, you know, to some president's house and and, you know, that's how I always envisioned myself going back. So as I got into the airplane and I landed in Liberia, the Senator, Dr. Henry Pogba, sent his senatorial delegation in a black car with armored people who came and grabbed my bags and put me in the car and drove me into my compound in Liberia. And I met with every imaginable leadership of Liberia so that I can create a united relationship between Liberia and Baltimore City. So we're building something in Liberia called Bond County Technical College, where we're connecting Bond County Technical Colleges with the resources that are right here in Baltimore. Talked to Dr. Wilson about creating a partnership between Cuttington University, which is one of the dominant universities before the war in Liberia, and Morgan State University's duplicating programs via the internet, doing teleclasses at Cuttington University. I'm partners with the Bonga City Corporation, which is the third largest city in Liberia, to help to rebuild infrastructure, you know, in Liberia. I met with the Liberian Investment Commission about how do we create a Liberian investment arm right here in Baltimore, and how do we, without interruption, create resources that could help fuel, you know, the rise of Liberia. And how do you connect the great ports of Liberia, whether it's Harpole, whether it's the port of Monrovia or other ports? How do you connect those with the ports of Baltimore? So I met with the governor's folks, and we met with the ambassador down in Washington, D.C., and we began to scope out a plan of, what does that look like, and now I'm just working on it.
Right, yeah. See, so I had to, and that's, again, to me, a lot of things folks don't understand, and that's just the humble man that you are. Yeah. They don't understand what you're doing, what you're moving on, what you're working on. They see things, but I have to say, brother featured here today, that's why these questions is coming, and that was my own damn question.
Hey, whatever you want, Rich, right? Whatever you want.
Because we got to get it out there. There's a lot going on. You're giving back in so many different ways. You're trying to, make not just Baltimore and the surrounding areas better, but like you said, you say we can take it to the world.
We'll take it over the world. We can do it.
Okay, all right, and I believe you.
We already doing it. We just don't realize it.
This is true. So what do you consider? And matter of fact, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Our engineer, he's on top of his job today. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some more, keep the interview going. More Derrick Chase here on BeExposedRadio.com, Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Derrick Chase. We'll be right back. Come back.
White keys only have this bitch jumping.
Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Yeah. Rebel.
If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head and I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Working mode, tell them where the cash. If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. If you playing for you, gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got hurt from that. Now it's all over and the curtains back. Can't see you not noticing that. I'm letting it go, it ain't holding me back. Yeah, I'm on dice, but ain't come for the crack. Drinking with uncle, we only do jack. How I'm alive, I thank God for that. Praying about it.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Derrick Chase. Again, I am your host, Rich James, and this is the Living a Rich Life talk show, MSU, Morgan State University Alumni Homecoming Weekend Edition. We getting it in. We having good conversation offline. We gearing up for tonight. Just a little a preview of what's to come.
Yeah.
So, well, we talked about a lot of different things. Again, we focused on good health. We talked strong relationships. We threw a little financial freedom in there. To me, we also talked a little philanthropy because some of that stuff is happening.
Right.
What do you consider to be your greatest achievement at this point in your life?
My greatest achievement is just my level of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, to operate in the space of love, how I operate in, is a beautiful thing. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of love there, bro.
Yeah.
So that would be my greatest achievement. Second is probably, I don't have a runner-up. I could always, emphasize just my kids and the relationship that I have with my kids and having a beautiful family. But that would be too cliche. You know what I mean?
You was never a cliche, bro.
Nah, it's not my style.
Okay, all right, I appreciate that. So this question came from, that was one of your supporters, by the way. This one too. So the question was, well, tell me about your first entrepreneurial experience as a kid. Right? So I know for me it was like a paper route, stuff like that. So somebody. It might be somebody that knows you.
Yeah. It's interesting. There was a cat named, we used to call him Dirty Kev.
Okay.
So, Dirty Kev, Park Heights and Shirley, Park Heights kid. Dirty Kev used to sell papers, but he didn't sell his papers. Dirty Kev used to hit other people's paper routes. You know what I'm saying? So he used to hit your paper route, and then he used to have all these papers left over.
Oh, goodness.
And then he would give them to us, and then we would start selling the papers. And then, I guess, I don't know if Dirty Kev, he got jammed up. He didn't have no more papers to sell. So there was a man right there at the corner of Green Spring and Cold Spring who would sell News Americans all day long.
Okay.
And at like maybe 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, he was done. So all the papers that was left, we could do whatever we wanted. Okay. So at that point in time in Baltimore, you could take those papers, you could just ride the bus and sell the papers. So, we would take these papers, and I would ride the bus all day and night selling the papers. That was my first entrepreneurial experience. Yeah.
Dirty Kev, shout out to Dirty Kev.
Yeah, Dirty Kev wound up getting killed, man, back in 1990. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Oh man, see, so again, I knew there was going to be something to that.
Kevin Hall is his name. Kevin Hall, shout out to Greg Hall, Butter, Nene, Tinkle, the whole Hall family. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, they still in. Angie, they still around. Still on Shirley Avenue, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna keep it going. I'm trying to find some more that your friends and your supporters asked you.
Right.
Okay, so here's a good one. Well, actually, this is probably so what was your biggest aha moment, right? When you said, hey, I think I heard it already, but I didn't ask the question that way. So what was your biggest aha moment to say, hey, this is what I should be doing versus this is what I'm doing? Maybe that's it. You
know what? I guess my first aha moment came when I was 6 years old, bro.
Okay.
And I used to drink.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I used to eat cereal and milk, man. Captain Crunch, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still eat it.
And my grandfather, William Edward Chase, Lavinia Pender Chase.
Okay.
Would every Saturday, he would leave me, money to get cereal, box of Captain Crunch, half a gallon of milk. But what I didn't know is I was lactose intolerant. I did not know it. So I would eat as much of that cereal as I possibly could put in my stomach. And then I would suffer. Greg, I would suffer. So my stomach would be killing me, but I never could associate it with the milk. I just know that every day on Saturdays, I would have to go into the bathroom. So I would close the door and I would turn off all the lights because I would be sweating profusely. And I would take off all of my clothes and I would pray. And I would pray so hard that this stomach would just stop bothering me. And I started telling, and my understanding of God at that point was Jesus. I would pray and say, Jesus, if you stop my stomach from hurting, I will do anything. And the more and more, I would keep eating this cereal, and I would keep going to this bathroom, and I would keep turning down the lights, and I would keep praying. So when you're 6 years old and you're praying and you're talking directly to God, you're like, oh man, wait a minute, my stomach stopped hurting one time. And then it dawned on me, I told Jesus, in the middle of my stomach, Jesus, I gotta talk directly to God. I can't talk to you. You ain't getting it done. So then I began to talk directly to God. And as a result of me talking directly to God, my aha moment, I began to realize, because now, if you can imagine, for 25 minutes you're in the dark, you're sweating profusely, and you're praying. That's meditation. So my life was born out of that. My purpose was born out of that. So I knew my purpose early. So when you met me, I already knew my purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. It comes from taking a shit.
I mean, how long? I don't know you for 25 plus years.
You didn't know that all this came out of taking the shit. Yeah. See what you know about people.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And I'm still taking the same old shit and still praying to the same old God. You know what I mean?
Look, yeah.
I just don't drink milk.
Oh, goodness. I don't mess with no damn milk. Oh, goodness. Oh, okay. That's funny. So let's
yeah.
Oh goodness, I love it. So I want to ask this question because given I think you've accomplished quite a bit. Your younger days, the 20s versus now, you've accomplished a lot. And at one point in time, resources have not always been that thing. So the question is, what would you do with an unlimited amount of resources, right? Because I can only imagine, because what you're doing now, the things you're doing now, with an unlimited amount of resources, what's some of the work or things that you would do?
Okay, so number one, I want to say, I need everybody right now to go and I need you to write this down, all right? So I'm going to give you a part. I mean, it's 94 different things, but what would I do initially? the number one thing, I would do with an unlimited resource is I would free up about 40 people. I would probably need about 40 of the brightest and best that I know. In all of the, I would like to say 9 areas of human activity. Some people say 11, some people say 12, but the baseline is say 10 areas of human activity.
Okay.
Education, technology, business, you name it. I would take those people.
Okay.
And then I would ask them, what is your greatest vision of how we can transform the planet? All right. So once we had the greatest vision of those individuals who could transform the planet, then I would share the vision that God gave me about how their vision is connected directly to this vision. So the first thing I would do is I would resource all of my friends to achieve what it is that they want to achieve. And once, I guess not necessarily I would be buying their faith, but once I could free them, then I would ask them to help me to do, and this is just a part of it, which is create, Baltimore as the diasporic capital for the rise of African people throughout the diaspora. And we already engaged in that, but in a limited amount of resources, I would have the opportunity to go and meet with the leadership and begin to establish the vision of how do you center a global diasporic community right here in Baltimore, in particular utilizing the port as our greatest source of commerce. That's what I would initially do, and then it would go beyond that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's so again, the plan. Most folks don't have a plan and steps to visualize that.
Rich, man, I have a plan. I have a plan that is probably about 400 years. I have a 400-year plan. All right? I'm 20 years on a 75-year plan. All right? So I'm in my 23rd year of a 75-year plan. All right? So, and that is just for my life. But beyond that, I have a plan that takes it into, at minimum, the next century. All right, of exactly how we need to maneuver in order not only to transform black people, all right, because the other greatest part that I have fell in love with myself about is my humanity. I don't filter the world through the 500-year experience that we've had in America. I don't. All right, I understand how critical that was to our demise, and everything about me wants to fix that and is going to fix that. But I also know that there's a broken humanity. You know what I'm saying? So the vision that God gave me is how to utilize the American privilege to establish a greater humanity. So that's really what I'm working on.
Yeah, I think when it comes to that humanity piece, and what I generally like to say these days is that we can all win.
Yes, sir. All day.
We can all win. That's the one thing I say. On top of that people can change. I believe that. Sometimes
people change every day.
You got to refocus, readjust, reanalyze, whatever it is you need to do. But people can change, and they can change for the better if you give them the information they need, if they take the time, and again, if they have those strong relationships around them. Right?
They just need freedom. If you look at a person, Rich, the average person spends 90% of their lifetime just trying to figure out how they're going to look good, all right, and how they're going to feed and clothe themselves and take care of the children. They spend 90% of their time. They never even in any way, shape, or form tap into their ability to transform the planet, and we all have it. It's nothing special about Derrick Chase. The only thing special about Derrick Chase is Derrick Chase has had a series of experiences that made that really real. All right? That's the only difference. And I test it every day. I go to God every day and say, God, I'm going to do what I want to do. All right? Now, what do you want to do, Derrick? I want to serve you in a very, very real and direct way. I want to use the talents and skills and the gifts that I have to be an agent for the vision that you have. Now, God, so I'm going to sit here for a second, as long as I can. Just tell me your vision. Just tell me, God, you talking. That's you. Oh, I hear your voice. I keep your voice right here. So no matter what I'm doing, keep your voice right here. That's what's forward. So when you give people access to that, all right, and God is constantly in your ear. See, most people, whatever they got to do to survive is in their ear. But once you can get survival out of your ear, all right, and you can get God and what God is telling you to do and what your life is supposed to be and how it's supposed to be a blessing to other people, once that overwhelms, once that's the loudest sound in every situation you're going in, you hear God yelling, what you going to do? You know what I'm saying? You don't have a choice because God is yelling louder than whatever else is yelling back.
And sometimes he sends folks to you to yell for him as well.
All day.
You know, and I think that's, again, for me, again, he sent you to me. He sent another friend, a good friend of mine. He sent her to me.
Oh, yeah.
She's been like, hey, you know, and I have, again, some other relationships that kind of transformed to something, but at the end of the day, I'm like, whoo, wow, yeah, you know, I've had those conversations. I'm not the most religious man, or
this ain't about religion.
Exactly. When it comes to spirituality and again having that conversation, it's like, oh wow. So now I no longer think of Rich's plan.
Yeah.
But for the last several months, I've been following God's plan for me.
It is. And God's plan for you is going to fulfill any and everything that Rich ever wanted to do.
I tell you, he kicked some bad habits and things are going pretty well.
Hey, Rich, man. When I tell you, man, if people only knew the other side, like if they only like.
Yeah. And we're featuring you. I hear you. I appreciate you. You know, I appreciate you. That's one thing. This brother will always. We here featuring you today. We doing homecoming.
No, but the greatest way to understand me is to understand my love for you, because I love you more than you love me.
True.
I mean, you can argue, we can dance on it, you know, we can disco, we can spar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I love you more. I'm thinking about you all day.
Right.
I'm never thinking about myself.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So the blessing of life, yo.
Yeah.
And this is if we only could understand this.
That's deep.
If we are thinking about each other before we think about ourselves, if everybody was doing that, come on, bro.
Yeah.
The greatest aspect, the greatest attribute of the greatest attribute that I possess is my ability to identify talent. Has nothing to do with me. I identify talent. What? Did you see what? Come on, man. Once you can identify talent, you can put together teams. You got to be able to put together teams. You have to be able to inspire teams. You have to be able to manage teams. So you know, I do one or two of those pretty good. Once I get the management together. Then it's a wrap.
Right.
I'm just looking for people who can come and manage the idea. Yeah. If you want to be a billionaire, if you want to be a millionaire, you mean fuck with me, I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
If you want to achieve your greatest potential, fuck with me.
Right. Yeah.
I got it. I'm trying to tell you. I know you don't know it, but fuck with me for a little bit. You don't even have to stay with me long. You can be out. Excuse my language. I don't know. I apologize. I know I should be cursing.
We passionate. Be Exposed Radio. We don't have.
I was actually quoting a song. That was Jay-Z's song. You know, I got it. I was quoting a song. That wasn't necessarily.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep it going. You can feel the energy. If you can't, you're not watching the Living a Rich Life talk show. So we're going to keep it going. We'll be right back. Take a quick break. More with Derrick Chase. We'll be right back. BeExposedRadio.com.
Listen to this flashback of Skyline Radio Show.
So where we at? Where we talk about the effects and what's going on in these schools.
Yes.
And what people don't understand. Just real briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about what people say bullying is or is not. So bullying comes in many forms. It's a teasing, it's the cyberbullying, it's the texting, it's the phone calls, it's the posting of pictures and people's personal information to pretty much cause them harm, to have them feel insecure. It's the sex assaults that people actually put out there. There are physical assaults, and there are mental assaults and emotional assaults. And what I like to remind individuals that any aggressive behavior towards anyone that is unwanted and unwarranted, and an individual asks you to stop. Let's stop there. Stop.
And they should be respecting that.
respecting that and respecting yourself, because when you're able to respect another person, you're able to respect yourself. And the way that you're able to show that respect is that you know that you have a gift and you know you're uniquely made and that you matter, and then you also acknowledge that the next person beside you matters as well.
Right.
You know, and we lose that sometimes. Bullying is a behavior that underestimates the lives and legacy of you. I'm sure that when they was bullying me, and I'm sure when they was bullying you, they didn't understand who you're going to become later on. I didn't know.
Right, because I'm popping. I can't All right, let me tell you, all those people who felt like they wanted to say whatever to me, look at me now. It's like, no, y'all don't understand, but I've been through some things, okay?
And you know what? No. I applaud you and I salute you, because a lot of times we do not take the time to say, I'm okay, and I'm okay with me, and there's nothing wrong with me, and I'm amazing, and I'm blessed, and I'm strong, and I matter.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Skyline Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'm gonna show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way. Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated baby sitting with a passion. She deserved better circumstances. A black queen, she should have been blessed with certain chances. Look down upon, getting all the hurting glances. Making men change up all the twerking stances. She never cried about the pain, only gritted her teeth. But most soldiers never get a flower or a wreath. She like G.I. Jane in the war with no relief. Don't recognize why killers was going through her beat. She said more prayers than the nun did. After seeing so much struggles with only one kid, the clinic said baby number 2 couldn't be undid. 9 months later, delivery and it's one big. But this time it was an older dude. But the shit happened so fast, she barely know the dude. Damn, but we all make mistakes though. And the older we get, that's how mistakes go. So he claimed the baby, now with no money. He said shit was hard and his dollars was kind of funny. Real was feeling like that was strike 2. So when it rains and pours, that's just how life do. She was thinking about her childhood and how life flew. Her daddy she always loved, but she never quite knew. This was before the bags and the cellulite grew. Other bitches in her shoe, no telling what they might do. You lose a lot of friends, they start to despite you. Passing judgment when they
Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
Period.
the real. That's the real deal.
It's period.
Right. And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to, if the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
And we are back. Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Derrick Chase. So far we having a good time.
Oh man, all day.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
all we know how to do anyway.
This is true.
Yes,
This
sir.
is true. So this next segment, again, Living a Rich Life talk show, we like to play games. So with that being said, something called either or.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I can do.
So I'm going to give you 2 options.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to tell me which one you prefer.
Come on.
Okay. And hopefully some of these won't cause any conflicts.
Well, they cause conflicts. Conflicts need to be caused sometimes, you know. You want the truth, and you want me to not be in conflict.
Right.
That's the question.
I want the truth.
Okay, we're just going to be in conflict.
Okay.
Conflict is an inevitable part of the universe.
Blonde haired women or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Brunettes, okay.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Dunkin' Donuts. I don't like Starbucks.
All right. chess or checkers?
Chess all day, every day.
All right, are you a night owl or an early riser?
3:30 in the morning every day.
Oh my goodness. I love this one. Boxing or MMA?
That's a hard one.
Yeah, I thought it would be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would probably say I'm probably a better wrestler than I am a boxer. Really? So yeah. I have a wrestling background.
Okay.
So it would be MMA.
You would say MMA. Okay, that's it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Considering we've gone to a couple of boxing matches.
Yeah. I mean, if you say watch, boxing. Okay. I like to watch boxing, but as far as like combat, it's probably I like the whole show. I like the fight. Like I enjoy it.
Gotcha.
It's relaxing.
Okay. Yeah. So because we've been to a couple of boxing matches.
Yeah.
Atlantic City.
Hey, shout out to J Mac. Jack Mac Daddy, what's up, baby?
Okay. I got a question for you. So, do you still stay in contact with Roy Jones?
I try to. The question is, will he return my phone call? Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, but we had a good time out there with Roy. I still got his number.
Right.
It is his number though.
Right.
Yeah. But he'll say what up, but he won't give me no rhythm. I gotta find the next tank. You know what I mean?
Right. True. Okay. Yeah, that was a good weekend. All right. So a few others here, and this came from a female supporter. It was a question, but she included a shower or a bath.
A shower.
Okay.
Bathtubs are just not big enough. It's like you get a certain size, it's not comfortable anymore.
True. You need a big.
You need a big tub. If you give me a big tub, like I could live in a big tub. Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get back into some of the questions again.
Okay.
All right. So one question, which I don't know what it is. It was my previous guest got the same question.
Okay, we'll take that.
I had to really massage the question.
All right, yes, sir.
So the question was, would you ever leave your wife for another woman?
Nah.
Okay. Nah. I knew the answer. Nah. I knew the answer. These folks is crazy.
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like one of the games we play in life is we play the cash in life. You know, once we get finished using the best of a person, we cash them in and try to get something new. Like we don't reflect back on the fact that who they are and what they're giving us is actually what's creating all the new opportunities. So I wouldn't trade my wife in for nothing. And my wife is a nut, and I wouldn't trade her in.
Well, yeah, of course, I wouldn't let you.
Not at all.
That's not even an option. So these, and some of these questions I had to massage them because it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we like crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, this one here. All right. So, what is the wildest experience you had at Morgan?
Wow. Look, man, this is legal. All of my experiences at Morgan. We haven't put this in context. Like, what are we talking about? What kind of wild? Like, I've had wild. I tell you a wild experience.
Hey, whatever it is, man.
I've had so many wild experiences at Morgan.
Right.
But I'll keep I'll do a PG.
Okay, PG.
So
we'll talk R off air.
Yeah. We can talk that too. I'm an open book. But they fly the flag.
Yes.
One night, me and Kamau, we took the American flag down and we put the red, black, and green flag up. So when cats came on the campus, anybody who came on the campus and saw at 7 o'clock in the morning, we flew the red, black, and green flag. So the funny thing is that we were actually hiding under the bushes. All right? And I see Deirdre and the dude who she's seeing, that's how I knew she was seeing. I was hiding in the bushes and the two of them walked past. So that was wild. And of course, in the words of Salt and Pepper, I took that.
Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. Okay. What we didn't do was how can folks stay connected with you?
Man, bro. Like
let's do that. Let's share that information. How can they stay connected with you? How can they get in contact with you if they want to talk business to rent out the garage?
So let me just give a number. The easiest way, I'm accessible best by text message. You know what I mean? I kind of am rogue in terms of how I run my businesses because freedom is more important than business to me. I don't allow business to be. I'm not a slave to my business. All right? It creates whatever level of income it creates, but I won't allow it to compromise my freedom. So 443-804-8742. That's my direct number. email address is really simple. standupbaltimore@gmail. standupbaltimore@gmail. It's 3 people that looks at that. You know what I mean? So nothing ever gets past me. standupbaltimore@gmail. IG, D-Chase Presents. Twitter, D-Chase Presents. Those are pretty much the 4 ways. And then other than that, get in contact with Rich. Holler at my man.
We'll make sure that you get in contact. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, holler at my man.
Okay. So y'all have that information. If you don't, again, you can reach out. Living a Rich Life Talk Show. I'm on IG. We'll make sure. Again, I always do follow-ups. So those that, responded and provided some questions for D-Chase today, I appreciate your interaction because we're interactive type dudes.
Oh yeah,
right?
all day.
That's how we that's how we move. Yeah, that's how we move. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. Okay. So I want to talk about Stand Up Baltimore.
Please. Man.
Yeah, let's talk about Stand Up Baltimore. So I hear a lot of good things. I did step back from a little bit. So tell us what's going on with Stand Up Baltimore.
Yeah. So the big picture is Stand Up Baltimore. Stand Up Baltimore is bigger than me, bigger than the organization. Stand Up Baltimore is really a hashtag. If you see something that's good, that's going, anything that's going in the right direction in any sector of life in Baltimore, hashtag it Stand Up Baltimore. If you in Newark, hashtag it Stand Up Newark. If you in DC, hashtag it Stand Up DC. If you anywhere, hashtag it. Right? Okay. So one of the things that I really take pride in, this is one of those things that nobody knows. So everybody saw there was a Standing for Kaepernick movement, and they saw all these protests around the country. But if you ever go to Standing for Kaepernick, the site, and you ever see the cat that's behind it, is me. So we organized protests in Chicago, in Baltimore City, in Seattle, in San Francisco. We organized all those protests. All right? So that was one of the things. Now, we know that Jay-Z's now got involved, so that is going to take on a life of its own. One of my good friends and one of my GQ brothers is Darryl DeSouza. All right? Darryl DeSouza is currently in prison right now. He was the former commissioner of Baltimore City Police. So, yeah. And, they imprisoned him for something that I'm guilty of also. All right? So, and many of us are guilty of paying our taxes late. So he's not special. Nothing special about him in his prison time. So I look forward to connecting with him when he comes out of prison. You know what I'm saying? And continuing the work that we started, which was helping to transform Baltimore City Police. So when DeSouza was the commissioner, one of the things he did is that he made me, from a citizen standpoint, a part of the officer wellness program. So I had the opportunity to work with the the sergeants, all the way up to the deputy commissioners in terms of what wellness looked like for officers and what relationships look like with the police. So a lot of the stuff that you saw behind the scenes, all right, well, you wouldn't see it because it's all behind the scenes, was us impacting the Baltimore City Police. We had something over the summer that was called Be More Live 19. So if you remember, at Memorial Day weekend, there was 10 young people who got locked up. They got locked up at the Inner Harbor, all right? But you notice that nobody else got locked up at the Inner Harbor. The reason that they didn't get locked up at the Inner Harbor because we intercepted that pass. So we met myself, an organization who one of their key employees is Ashley Devon, called ACY, Tisha Edwards, Baltimore City's Office of Family, Mayor and Family, Children and Family, Keisha Weber, who's over Greenmount West Commission, Greenmount West Community Center, as well as Kim Trueheart. We came together and we brought about 40 different organizations together to put together a summer youth engagement strategy. So every time that there was a major event down in the Harbor, we had 40 to 50 interrupters of young people there, and provided them with experiences that welcomed them to the space, and in addition, to gave them something to do. So that was the Be More Live 19. Stand Up Baltimore has 94 different initiatives. We're doing so, it's just like, I would be here all day talking about what Stand Up Baltimore is doing. But I tell Kat, you want to know, I'm Googleable. Stand Up Baltimore, Derrick Chase. You know what I mean? One of the things I'm really proud of doing is that, we had that $2 million basketball game. We brought it to Coppin, and then we brought it right back to Morgan State University. All right? But not only that, we stuck them up. And this is what I tell people, right? I say, I don't know have you ever been robbed, all right? But let me explain to you how a robbery goes, all right? A person who really robbed is a robber. He's not a murderer. He's a robber. He steals. He takes the pistol out. When he takes the pistol out, you should get the message that he's about to rob you. He shouldn't have to rob you, because when you see the pistol, you should know that you're supposed to give him your money. But just in case you don't know that you're supposed to give him the money, stick him up. It's a robbery. All right. So now you have a choice. Okay, you can be robbed. All right, or you can make this into a murder scene. All right, because I'm going to rob you, whether I'm going to rob a dead person or an alive person. Now, that is not real, okay? That is an allegory for our relationship, what our relationship has to be with people who come into our community to stick us up. All right, okay. So I like to look at the TBT, which is is ran by a billionaire. It's a $1 billion family that's behind TBT. But when I told her, if we're coming, we're going to bring this thing to Baltimore. No, you guys are going to deposit something for the community. So we were able to bring together 68 corporations and have not a job fair, but a hiring fair. All right, we asked all those corporations to provide a minimum 5 jobs. All right, make 5 jobs available for a qualified candidate. So we were able to hire over 200 plus people on the spot. 200 more got interviews. All right, 1,000 plus people came out. Then we did the same thing in the health sector. We had 46 entities, hospitals, medical centers, insurance companies, people who work in the health sector. Yeah. All right, we brought those people together. We did screenings for close to 2,000 people. All right. Then we went to Carmelo. The city, this is your city. Right. We create a partnership between Carmelo and Montebello School. But Carmelo Anthony has been, for the last 2 years, has a budget so that the teachers at Montebello don't have to spend their own money. We built a court out there. I mean, we do so much, bro. I mean, I don't even get into what we do, because it don't even matter what we do until we can transform the lives of human beings, until we can make the average person, the average Joe, not cats I went to Morgan with. Right. Because the truth of the matter is that, my family don't come out of corporate. I don't come out of families that go to college, at least in this generation. Right. All right? I come from Park Heights. I'm from the mud, the real mud. Like lights off 6 months a year, that kind of mud. You know what I'm saying? Right. So as long as people, I got to make sure, my life is about making sure that people like me get a chance. Mm-hmm. All right? Okay. Cats who go to, they going to figure it out. Right. All right? Yeah. My goal with the cats who going to figure it out is to make sure you figure it out not only for you, make sure you figure it out for some other people. Right. But these people who are not going to figure it out unless somebody come in and help connect, I'm rocking with them. Right. Yeah. So Stand in Baltimore is about, connecting all these people. The rich, the poor, the black, the white, the dark, the light. Everybody who shares this geographical space called Baltimore has a stake in this. And we all got to come together, execute an executable plan. Right. Execute an executable plan. And we believe that we have some pieces of that plan that can bring that to fruition.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well said. All things that I know. I remember the court that was built there. That was a nice little. Yeah. We did that. Yeah, that looks quietly. But nobody don't know. It's the flight of the eagle, man. Yeah. If you run around telling everybody what you're doing, you're not doing enough. Yeah, exactly. Right. If you can remember what you do, you're not doing enough. My biggest problem in life is I really don't remember because I'm really not trying to take a tally. Right. You know what I mean? I'm just doing it. It is. Yeah, and prayerfully, man, I got great brothers, who love me, man. And, somebody tell my story because I'm not going to have time to sit and tell it because I'm too busy living it. Speaking of, I do have somebody that can tell your story. I've had a couple of writers on here and they're looking to write it. No, real talk. Hey, well, look, I got a hell of an autobiography. I'm going to my story make you cry, make you laugh, and inspire you at the same time. I got a hell of a life. Okay. Well, I got a hell of a life, and I ain't done living it yet. Yeah, true indeed. Yeah, come on, let's go get this Emmy, Grammy, whatever. Let's do something. True indeed. So, we got homecoming coming. All day. So we talked about those events happening starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right through Sunday. Right. What else are you working on outside of homecoming that you can share with us here today? Man, so much. Just a snippet. I know. So what can we share with the folks in terms of what you're working on now? We're working on the garage. Working on the garage and making that sustainable and making that a place where people want to come and celebrate their lives. And what type of So they can have any type of event there, right?
Yeah. So we like to say it's the intersection of everything.
Okay.
All right. Right now, Baltimore is in a critical space. Okay. So if you ask me what is the main thing I'm focusing on, you have leadership all across the board, inside the city and outside the city. I'm focused on bringing those pockets of leadership together, both from political, from an economic, from educational, from a community, from a spiritual. So I'm in every one of those buckets. Bringing those brilliant ideas and visions together and resources together so we can facilitate a model for community change throughout the world. So we're working on how do you actually create a movement. Like, we seen Dr. King and we read all of that. I get it. I get all of that and I respect them. Can you do it?
Right.
So I'm saying like, yeah, we can. All right, let's do it. That's where I am. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did I bang on the thing?
Yeah. I'm used to this. Y'all didn't say I didn't flinch anything. We get to talking sometimes.
It's crazy.
I love it.
Oh,
okay.
Big power.
Oh goodness. So what's this? So what? Why do you do what you do? We already answered that. So let's ask this question here. So what are some factors of change, right?
Yeah.
So since the concept, as we come to somewhat of a close of the show, what are some factors of change? I think ultimately you have to know the meaning of change. Right. Then you got to be able to manage that change. Right. And then you got to understand what causes that change. Right. So in your opinion, what are some factors, and maybe from those buckets in terms of, because we talked about change in Baltimore. We talked about change, in our lives and aha moments, right? But what possibly would be some other factors that you can think of that really, when it comes to change, what's that concept look like to D. Chase?
Yeah, the concept of change, number one, is understanding that, there are 7 billion plus people on the planet. All right, so what does that change look like for everybody? Because sometimes
for everybody, not just you,
okay. Because we don't understand that the conditions of Europe facilitated us getting out of Africa, becoming over here. So we can't fundamentally understand like this. It's a global thing at play. Then we are setting ourselves up to become a victim of somebody else's change. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. Everything is global. Act locally, think globally. All right. The second thing is, change happens in very, very small spaces, all right? And the greatest change that you probably can make is by just saying hello. Like, if you can imagine an environment that is welcoming, right?
Yeah. Bless you.
If you can create welcoming environments for people where the anxiety that they normally feel, most people, one of the things that they fear is going into places where they don't know anyone. If you can take that away from them, then you eliminate, the whole idea of comfort. All right. So change starts from creating spaces where people are comfortable. All right, and the support that comes with that. So you have that element of change, and then those are the simple changes. Then there has to be some deep-seated changes, which comes fundamentally from asking the question, to them, why you, all right, and why now? So I argue that we come to the planet, all of us come to the planet, genetically coded, spiritually coded, to have an impact, to answer the questions that were right there before we were born. So we are actually sent, this is my philosophy on how I see change, we actually are sent beings to change the circumstances that exist before we got here. So change starts from understanding the circumstances that you were brought into. All right? So when we look at our lives in the petri dish, we look at ourselves. We first look at your immediate family. What was the immediate circumstances that you were brought into? And what about those immediate circumstances need to shift? So then we begin to have a series of conversations with the people who are close to us to shift what's directly around us. All right? Then we begin to expand our own personal story and our direct family into our family story. So each one of us have a family story. We have something that we're connected to, a legacy that we're directly connected to. So my family legacy is going to take me to Calvert County. All right? It's going to take me to Alabama. It's going to take me to North Carolina. So the Calvert County one is the one that I'm closest or most able to impact. So the Calvert County legacy ties me directly into a group of people, 9 people who came to this country with Reverend Thomas Chase from England in the early 1700s to Calvert County, which technically at that point was St. Mary's County. So my life is tied directly into righting that wrong that happened at the beginning of this town. So going beyond my family story, all right, then I'm in a Baltimore story. All right, I'm in a Baltimore, so I'm in a neighborhood story, I'm in a Baltimore story. I was born in Baltimore. What were the circumstances that I was born in, and what are the circumstances that have not shifted? Now, my life, I begin to look at those situations. Okay. That's a part of my. Then I go beyond it. What's the state? What's the country? Then ultimately the world. So I look at change and say, I have to be able to impact all of these things simultaneously, but differently. Gotcha. That is a person who's operating at their highest self. Now, some people may choose not to operate at their highest self. That may be too lofty. Oh, how are you going to do all that? That sounds crazy. You're not going to be able to do all that. Okay, you're not going to be able to do it because you've never even considered it. Right. All right? I'm just asking you to consider one of those aspects of change and just be content until you're no longer content with changing one of those things. And if you're able to evolve beyond that, so be it.
Yeah. Always deep conversation. I love it. I enjoy it. So this next segment that we go into is living a rich life recap.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
So we kind of recap a lot of the different conversation. Just to make sure that we give the audience what they're looking for, or what we're trying to, the message that we're trying to give. And again, it was focused on a concept of change, in which living a rich life, that whole thing is about change, it's about growing, being the best that you can be.
That's right.
So with that being said, I wanna read something here. So the meaning of change, when it comes to change, be either natural or reactive. Natural changes generally occur routinely in ordinary course of business, right? So that's my thoughts here.
Right.
In addition, now you can also be reactive to change, right? In which, as reaction to whatever it is, whether it's you're getting put out the house, or you get into an argument, right? So those are the two things. Can be natural or reactive, right?
Right.
I'm coming to realize that natural is a lot better.
Right.
I've been in that reactive stage.
Right.
So I appreciate that. So when it comes to management of change, right, that can be those things. So change is inevitable, as you mentioned. Right. So we can never completely prevent it.
Right.
It's how we handle it when it comes at us.
Right.
Right. Would you agree with those?
Yeah. I mean, the change has to be the expectation.
Yeah.
Most people get used to things constantly evolving. Like learn to evolve with it.
Right.
Like if you look at Bruce Lee, and I'll be quiet. I know you got to close it. You look at Bruce Lee, Game of Death, which is like one of the things. What is the Game of Death about? The game of death is about one's ability to evolve, to take on the obstacles that are presented. Whether the obstacles are short, wide, and fat, whether the obstacle is long and tall, whether the obstacles are quick, whether the obstacles is figuring out what the obstacle is. So the game of death is about moving up the ladder where you ultimately face the ultimate one, which is somebody that's double your size, all right? And when you see it, you should see it as an opportunity to, number one, all right, be so connected to the moment, whereas though you're giving the information of how to defeat your opponent. So that now you are forcing the change in the environment, and the environment is no longer forcing the change in you. So the game of death is about shifting and changing the environment. The goal of the game of death was to live. Had nothing to do with death. But if you weren't able to shift, you were surely going to die. You know what I'm saying? And this is kind of like where we are as a people. Like if we don't shift our ideas, if we don't shift our diet, if we don't shift our relationships, if we don't shift our outlook, we will surely die. Why? Because you can look at the history, see all of them who went through the same thing, they all died. So how do we, from a spiritual standpoint, what does it mean to live forever? What does it mean to be eternally grateful? What does it mean? All these things that you, what does that really mean? Like, ask yourself the question. Sit, meditate on the moment, not meditate when you sit there and say Om. You don't need to say Om. I did it on the toilet. You know what I mean? I was sitting on the toilet, and I said, "Well, you can if I can find God from taking a shit. All right, man. You surely can find God in some place other than taking a shit. You know what I mean? So change is inevitable, Rich.
Oh my goodness.
All day.
I love it. I love it.
Come on, man.
Oh,
come on.
Only man. D Chase presents, right?
All day, baby.
I love it. I love it. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break.
All right.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna close the show up real strong with that one and only question of what does living a rich life mean to D Chase. So when we come back, we're gonna get that answer here on Living a Rich Life Talk Show featuring Derrick Chase. BeExposedRadio.com. See you back shortly.
My money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is. 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it, but yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, how many of them are really ready to think about it like that?
None.
You know, like
I think the problem is
like
I don't even know how we got here, but it's inbred.
Mm-hmm.
You're not born to hate people. You're not born to distinguish between black and white and Asian and Hispanic. That's something that you're taught. You're taught.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to our final segment of Living a Rich Life featuring Derrick Chase. So again, we talked about it earlier in the show, 2 questions. This is the final, the be-all to end-all questions. And I'm looking for, what does living a rich life mean to Derrick Chase?
Right. So let's start with rich, man. You know what I mean? Rich means to be abundant. Rich starts with abundance. So the first aspect of living a rich life is just, knowing that everything that you need is available to you. Like, being confident and walking in a confident. Watch, not having a Hakuna Matata. I can't think of not having Hakuna Matata. Not having that, but just walking that knowing and absolutely knowing that if God gives you a vision, God gives you the provision. You know what I'm saying? If something is supposed to happen and you have connected and it is very clear and it's coming from a place that's not selfish, then it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And being able to walk firmly in the position that what God has shown you is real, all right? And you have been chosen, all right, to accomplish that. Like, to live in a rich life means to walk by complete faith, all right, and to be completely overwhelmed with joy as you go into situations and deal with people who aren't necessarily joyous, all right? To live a rich life means not to allow yourself to be disappointed by people who disappoint themselves all the time. Like, you know what I mean? To live a rich life means to seek out opportunities for financial success. All right, to live a rich life means to try to seek within yourself an idea that you never thought. like looking for an idea within yourself. Living a rich life means being able, how can you inspire people to help with your dream, or your vision? All right? No, wait a minute. How can you connect with other people? Living a rich life means finding somebody to serve that's greater than yourself. And I'll leave on this note, It is not the discovery of our gifts. It's more about the discovery of who our gifts will serve. And once we understand that, it's not about the discovery of our gifts. Cool, you're great. You do that well. Yes, ooh, yeah, look at you. All right? But for what? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with all of that? Yeah. Oh, you're going to die with that, huh? You're going to give that to one kid. You give it to your own kid. One kid who's going to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't transferring nothing else. You're not giving them nothing beyond that I got this. No. Our lives, all right, are for the next generation. I'll leave it the last quote. He said, we do not own this moment, we borrow it from our babies.
I sometimes I get speechless around this, brother.
Hey man, look, but we'll find the words as we go and enjoy some food or something else.
Exactly. So again, this is Morgan State University edition of Living a Rich Life. This is week 2. We're gonna keep the party going. You tune in next week. Living a Rich Life talk show features Morgan State University alumni, City of God's owner Terrence Frazier, here on BeExposedRadio.com. Let's talk about it. D. Chase, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Rich. It was phenomenal, brother.
Yes, indeed. As always, we're going to go do what we do. And we're not talking business. We building. We're going to go have us some fun. And we're going to probably build just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I got to actually go get some stuff for the event tomorrow. So my night is going to be, I'm going to go bing, 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 and I'm going to get this stuff and drop it back off. And so I won't have to do it tomorrow.
Okay. Because, tomorrow we at it.
Tomorrow we at it, man. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure that, like I said, whatever that I'm supposed to be doing and my service to people, I want to complete that task.
Okay. And we'll leave on that note. Again, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I am your host, Rich James, signing off. Living a Rich Life, featuring Derrick Chase. Be Exposed Radio. Let's talk about it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Peace. Be out.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next stop, Texaco, strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go. Texaco, strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go. Sitting, got my